70s, Dr. Bruce Alexander did some studies on rats. And the study was he took a rat, put it in a cage, and with that lonely rat, he had a water bottle full of water and a water bottle full of cocaine. And what the study proved is that the rat liked the cocaine and would go back over and over and over again until ultimately the rat died. The other side of that, though, that we don't hear a lot of is continued studies on the rat project called Rat Park. Is Dr. Bruce Alexander actually did the same experiment, but he put a community of rats in the rat park with little toys that they could play with, and they still had a water bottle and they still had cocaine. But what happened is not one rat overdosed. They would still go maybe taste the cocaine a little bit, but they would come back and play, and they just lived normal lives. So the point of that is Dr. Gabor Mate talks about the opposite of addiction isn't sobriety. The opposite of addiction is connection. And so this rat study is really phenomenal. I'm sitting here putting together a little talk, and a good buddy of mine reminded me of this study this morning, and I think it's super appropriate, especially with where people are at today in regard to community, especially where we've come over the past couple of years, being on lockdown, people isolated, not able to go to church. And isn't it interesting that suicide and addiction has gone through the roof since that time? And so, a couple of gifts that I want to share with you that I think will be really, really helpful if you are isolated or you know somebody who's isolated. For yourself, pick up the book, The Myth of Normal. Gabor Mate talks about trauma, illness, and healing in a toxic culture. And by all rights, we live in a very, very toxic culture. And get an understanding of why people feel the way they feel, the isolation they feel, and ways to, this is the key, ways to uncover what's causing the disturbances, the pain, the trauma, and actually come over to the other side and actually live happy, healthy, free, and in connection. But that's the key. Myself, as a recovered drug addict, alcoholic, thank God, it started with community. I had to get around people, and I had to go through a process to uncover shameful experience and limiting beliefs that lowered my frequency, that kept me away from what I call the divine, right? So for those of you who are dealing with some type of a trauma that is showing itself as addiction, it might be alcoholism, it might be drug addiction, it might be sex, it might be pornography, it might be stuff in your face, stuff those feelings. I get it. I've done all of those. A great book for those secular folks is called Recovery, from by Russell Brand. He is probably close to 20 years sober now and recovered. That boy made drug addiction look nasty, but he's created a phenomenal book for people that don't necessarily identify as alcoholic or addict. But it's all the same. You know, there's a lot of ways to check out and numb out and not deal with the underlying emotion and the feelings. This book is beautiful. And so those are my gifts for you today. I'm going to pop the link to that rat study in the comments so you can read it for yourself. Share that with people. And then also Gabor Mate's book, The Myth of Normal, and then Recovery from Russell Brand. So anyway, hope you're having a great weekend. I'm going to get back to work.